Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz, and today we're going to do another question in a series of questions or a series of topics dealing with hit and run car accident cases. If you have watched any of the prior videos, you will know that if you were involved in a hit and run accident, where you were driving a car and another motorist struck you and fled, or where you were riding a bicycle, or where you're a pedestrian and another motorist causes an accident and then flees the scene, that is called a hit and run accident. It can also be called a phantom vehicle case. But you understand from watching the prior videos that if you're involved in one of these cases and you're injured, then instead of suing the unknown, unidentified driver, you're going to make a claim with your own auto insurance for what's called uninsured motorist benefits. And today we're going to follow up on this topic of hit and run accidents with a question from one of our viewers, which is, the question is, why do drivers leave the scene after a hit and run accident? It's a really good question, and it's not a question that has a uniform answer. I want to tell you that I have had a hit and run accident. My wife has had a hit and run accident. In my law practice, in my law firm, one of the other attorneys has had a hit and run accident. In my practice, my day-to-day personal injury practice, over the course of the last 15 years, I probably have had 50 hit and run car accident cases that I've handled. It seems to me like it's a pretty common thing. Each case is different, and in each case there is a reason why the person flees the scene. In my personal case, I was driving in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. I was stopped at a red light and someone hit me from behind, backed up, went around and kept on trucking. And I tracked her down. And I confronted her, and the reason why she told me that she fled the scene was because she had to get to work, and she didn't really think she had caused any damage to my car or any injuries to me. Excuse me. In my wife's case, my wife was on 76 in Philadelphia, and she was rear-ended by a motorist who hit several other vehicles, and jumped out of the car and ran off. Someone chased him down and captured him and brought him back to the police, but he was trying to get away because he was intoxicated and he was high on drugs. He told the police that he didn't want to get arrested for being, on drugs and driving. So he had a reason. He was fleeing from arrest, and he made things worse by striking other motorists' vehicles. Sometimes the motorist doesn't get caught. In the case of one of the other attorneys in my firm, he was riding his bicycle and a passing motorist struck him with the side view mirror, the passenger's side view mirror on the car, and they just kept on going. They may not have even realized that they struck him. I mean, chances are they did not realize that they struck him, otherwise they would have stopped. I've also had cases where the driver that flees the scene is fleeing from another accident that they caused. They're trying to get away from being responsible for that accident when they're involved in our accident, and then they get away. I've had situations where the driver that causes the accident and flees the scene is trying to get away because they're wanted by the police, because they have an arrest warrant out of family court for child support, or they have a capias for failing to appear in one of their criminal cases, and they get in an accident and they don't want to be hauled into court and taken into custody because they know they're not going to be able to get bailed out. So some of these folks that flee the scene are fugitives from justice. There are many, many reasons why people flee the scene of an accident. My observation as a personal injury attorney who handles car accident cases is that when people come to me and they've been seriously injured in an accident, they really want to know why the person that struck them fled the scene. And they seem to automatically assume that the reason is that the individual that fled the scene intended them some harm. The person that fled the scene didn't care whether they lived or died. And the point that I want to make in this video is that's overthinking it. The person that flees the scene usually flees the scene because in their own mind they have a reason to flee. They're trying to get away from something. They're trying to escape responsibility for something. I have never had a case where the person that flees the scene thought through it that much to say, hey, if I leave the scene of the accident, that might result in the death of someone, or if I leave the scene of the accident, that in itself may cause further harm to that person. In their own minds, they're usually intoxicated, they're usually not thinking straight, they're usually fleeing the scene because they're trying to get away from something that they're afraid of, and they never think that much, they never think that deeply to say, I'm causing another human being harm. So, in answer to the question, there's a lot of different reasons why people flee the scene of the accident. If you have had a situation where you've been victimized or where you yourself have fled the scene of an accident, I'd be interested in hearing the story. Go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Schwartz and Schwartz, and leave a comment in response to this video. Tell us your story about when someone fled the scene of your accident or when you yourself fled the scene of an accident, and let us know why it happened if you know. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you found it interesting or useful in some way. Keep watching. We're doing a series of videos on fleeing the scene of an accident, phantom vehicle cases, uninsured motorist claims. And if you have questions or comments, send me an email, ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com, or again, facebook.com/Schwartz and Schwartz. You can get in contact with us there.